Hello, welcome to Oxford Heirloom. Today I'm going to create the casing and run the elastic through the leg of the body of my heirloom bubble. Now on this one side, I've already done some prep work. I folded along the bottom edge of the leg 1/4 inch and I pressed it. And then I did the same thing again by folding 1/2 of an inch. Now on this other side, I've already pinned that casing in place. So I'm going to use, I got my blue thread in here, and I'm going to use a straight stitch, and I'm going to sew right along the edge of the fold of the casing. And then when I get finished with this, I'll run the elastic through and show you that. But this will take me about a minute, and I've got to go kind of slow because I want to stay real close to the fold without floating away. And definitely, since this is going to hold elastic, we don't want to float off of the fold and have what my grandmother would call a little holiday in the seam. I'm taking my pins out as I get to it, or get to them. I'm working on the blue bubble. I'll do the pink bubble next, but I won't show you that just to save some time. And I'm only going to do one leg opening on this particular bubble, you know, sewing the casing and then running the elastic through it just to show you, you know, how that's done and what process I use to get the elastic through there. Now you notice when I get to this side seam, that French seam is already pressed towards the back of the garment. That's just kind of a standard in sewing, that when you press seams on the side, you press them towards the back of the garment. Got about 6 more inches to go, and then it'll be ready to run the elastic through the casing. And once again, I'm staying really close to the fold without accidentally sewing off of it and without accidentally getting too far away from the edge. And when I get to the end, I'll tack it down by going forward and backward a couple of stitches. Okay, let me clip my threads. Okay, now I'm ready to run the elastic through this casing. And let's talk about elastic for just a minute. This pattern calls for braided elastic. Now you can buy this at big box stores. I think you can probably buy it at specialty stores also, but elastic is readily available. Now my pattern just tells me to run elastic through. It doesn't, it doesn't tell me what size my elastic needs to be. But over the years, as I've made this pattern, for a 3-month baby, I use 7 3/4 inch elastic. For a 6-month baby, I use 8 1/2 inch. For a 12-month outfit, 9 1/4. For an 18-month outfit, 10 1/2. And since this is a 24-month outfit, I've cut the elastic 11 1/2 inches. Sometimes the patterns just tell you to measure the baby's leg. But if you don't have the baby readily available to you, that's just a pretty good guide. Now I've got my piece of braided elastic cut 11 inches. Now I've got this handy dandy, I don't even know what you call this thing. I call it an elastic grabber. If you look at the top of it, it's got a little hook with a little metal gate that kind of closes over the top of the hook. Like I said, I don't know what these things are called, but I've seen them at both specialty stores and big box stores. So I'm going to start at one end of the casing and I'm going to stick my elastic grabber in one end, and then I'll come out the other end. Now here's why I called it an elastic grabber. Open up that little metal gate and take the very end of the elastic and pierce the elastic with the little hook, and then close that little gate. And then it's real easy to run that elastic through. Now I need to tack the elastic down on either side, so I'm not pulling real fast. And when I get to where the elastic is just to the end of my seam allowance, I'm going to stop for a minute, and using my straight stitch, I'm going to tack that elastic in place. I'm going to sew backward and forward a couple of times just to tack that elastic in place. Now, if you don't have an elastic seam grabber, I think you can run elastic through by using a safety pin also. But I haven't done that in a lot of years, particularly since I've got an elastic grabber now. Okay, so now I'm going to pull the elastic out the other end, take my elastic grabber off. Now I'm going to very carefully draw the elastic back in just where it's right at the opening of the casing. And then once again, using my straight stitch and my sewing machine, I'm going to tack the elastic in place. Just run back and forth about 2 times. And clip your threads. Okay, and then I can stretch my elastic to kind of smooth it out. And so my elastic is tacked at either end, and I've got my casing, and that looks real nice. Now I need to do the other side, and then I need to do the pink bubble, and then I'll start working on the back placket of the body of the garment. Thank you.